friends. In today's video, I'm going to talk about this piece of art that I made called A Warm Welcome. It was the fourth piece of Autistic Expressionism that I made, and in it I began to be more intentional about the composition of the spaces, making sure that the rounded edges and circles were in interesting places and kind of balanced around the page. And it's kind of interesting because you can it kind of takes your eye around as you're looking at them. I wanted it to be an odd number because for some reason in art groupings and decor, an odd number is more aesthetically pleasing than an even one, and I can verify that because I made a pineapple painting that had two. It was called a double welcome, and it had two pineapples in it, and it got an honorable mention, but I still feel like it just is weird. And so that's kind of interesting. But I laid the shapes down in a light graphite mechanical pencil 0.3, I think it was, and I was using a ruler and a circle template, and this was starting to become normal for me. I mean, it was only my fourth piece, but I didn't realize as I was forming a habit for my processing and calming ritual, I was also creating a style element for my art. In the season of my life, I was making a strong effort to get into the studio every day, which I'd been doing for a lot of years, trying, and I would get in there most days, but at varying times of the day, still dependent on whatever was going on around me with my husband or appointments or friends or whatever. My studio is a really bright place to work, which I intentionally chose that room because of that. It's on the west side, so in the mornings, it's that side of the house is shaded, but it's also really bright in there. I like having the shade open, and I can see out into the world, and that's a little bit inspirational for me because in the afternoons we have white shades, so the light becomes diffused, but as the light is shining on the house, it's still bright in there, but it does change a little bit, and so it changes my mood, and it also changes what type of work I choose to work on. Do I want to do an art lesson? Do I want to create a whimsical piece? Do I want to whatever I'm doing? So my mom was staying with us to recuperate, and so we were a lot more homebound than what we had been before. My husband and I were always jumping up and running to get sodas or running to get lunch or whatever, and my mom being here helped to keep me more grounded, and it helped me to create a more regular routine. I get up in the morning and I make breakfast for everyone, talk to my daughter in Japan, and then I would take my coffee and get into the art studio. Well, when I did this, it was getting cold outside, and I was starting to miss warmer weather, especially since I just picked up my mom from Georgia. But I always seemed to feel the ocean calling me, and it's just so vast and beautiful, and the rose-colored glasses that I see it with, like, there's no sharks. in my vision, it's just calm, and the waves lap, and anyway, so I started on this piece. I started drawing the palm fronds and tropical leaves, and that morphed into these fruit slices. Like, I started with this orange one, and then I made this kind of lemon one, and then I painted this green because that was going to be a lime, and I did this one. This circle I ended up just leaving more as an essence of a sun's, like a lowering sun at the beach, And I think that the colors probably dictated the fruit slices as well, because there was a lime green and a lemon yellow and an orange and pink, But it was kind of funny because I drew these palm fronds on top of the semicircle, and then I was like, oh. And so that became a pineapple. And a pineapple is traditionally a symbol of welcome, warmth, and generosity, and I really like that. And so that's how it got its name. And I also think it's kind of interesting that this is the first piece where I kind of unintentionally started to have a focal point in the composition. I mean, I think intuitively as an artist, you kind of put that in there anyway, but just having that main central pineapple gives you this like warm feeling. And I don't know if that's because of the colors, because of the symbology up behind the pineapple. I'm not really sure what it is, but just like my eye is immediately drawn to that, and then it kind of goes around the canvas. You know, I think that's the colors, the yellow, the bright orange that kind of draws you around, and then you kind of wind down into the purple and blues, which is interesting and fun. As I was doing this, I saw myself sitting, you know, on a sunny beach with the under the palm trees with the ocean lapping and a nice fruity drink in my hand. And so whenever I look at this piece now, that is what I'm reminded of that morning in my studio, but also on the beach. And so I hope that if you look at this piece, that you also find a warmth in it and a welcome, and perhaps you can imagine yourself on a sunny beach too, just feeling the breeze and drinking the juice and listening to the waves. It's a full sensory experience. So anyway, thanks for watching my video.